Hey everyone, this is just a short video on my thoughts about the final episode of the final season. I'm not going to go too in depth as I'd like to make a bigger video talking about the entire season as a whole, but people have been asking for my opinion on this episode, so I figured I'll do that. The first thing I should say is that regardless of your opinion of this final episode, I think we can all agree that it's a good thing that it happened. The idea of the season never being complete and us never seeing an ending to this story is a horrifying thought, and I'm thankful to the Still Not Bitten team for coming back and finishing the game. From what I've seen, opinions of this episode have been fairly divisive. I've seen people mention issues like the lame conclusion with Lily and her just floating away from the story, never to be seen again. People say they were disappointed with the ranch flashback after all the build-up, and I know some people that were really not happy with the ending. As for what I thought, I enjoyed it. It's definitely not without its problems though. I thought the action scenes were well done, though I've never really been a fan of them in The Walking Dead. They're just a means to an end to keep people from losing interest in what the real story is. But I think they were pretty good here. Not quite as good as the assault on the ship from last episode though. Music was good, as usual. I expect nothing less. I still think season 2 has the best soundtrack, but the final season has some good stuff in here too. The voice acting was great, and Minerva's singing gave me chills. Super creepy. Honestly, the voice acting cast was really fantastic this season, arguably the best there's ever been. The barn scene, for what it was really well done, and the switch from playing Clementine to AJ was done seamlessly and felt very natural. I know some people are critical of it, but I really enjoyed the ranch flashback. It was disturbing, dark, and shocking, but not just for the sake of it. The way the game tried to frame Clementine as being a murderer didn't really work though. Everyone she met, besides the burning guy, was attempting to kill her. It was kill or be killed, and she acted in self-defense. There's also another reason where I can understand why people didn't appreciate the scene that much, and it has everything to do with, in my opinion, this episode's biggest problem, which was its inconsistent tone. A good example would be the bridge scene, which was great. The problem is that we either see Ten, Violet or Lewis die, get no time to mourn, and then we have to immediately move on because then we get the Clem bitten scene. Then, immediately after that, we get the emotional Clementine death, where we also have no time to mourn before we get thrown into an action horror with a ranch flashback. Individually, these scenes work, but the way they were structured did not. The ranch scene should have been placed at the very start of the episode, not right after what is supposed to be an incredibly emotional scene with Clementine dying. But I suppose I should talk about the whole controversy of Clementine's death, since that seems to be what is considered most people's biggest problem with the episode. I've seen people defend it by saying that it's not implausible Clementine could live because it only took roughly 15 minutes from the bite to the cut. That's a solid point. There's the issue with the zombie blood on the axe, and that would make her infection much worse, but honestly, the infection rules in this series have never been consistent in either the show or the comics. But I don't think that's why people dislike it. I think the biggest issue people have with this scene is that it was intended to trick you. Clementine becomes paler as it seems like the infection is getting worse, and telling AJ just to kill you should have solidified her death. The presentation is executed in a way that tries to make it seem like Clementine is going to die, when I think that a lot of people kind of assumed she was always going to live, and they saw right through this twist. And the execution for this death is kinda bad. Clementine becomes incredibly pale in 15 minutes, She arguably had it much worse in season 2. AJ cut her foot off and pushed her in the wheelbarrow to the school? Isn't he like 6? How do you push a near adult that far? This scene is a lot worse if you told AJ you didn't trust him, and he just goes and cuts off your foot anyway. It just kind of goes to show what you said or did meant nothing because he did what he wanted anyway. I was talking to someone who thought the game would do a point system thing, like they did with Kenny in season 1. Depending on what you said or what you did throughout the season, the scene might play out differently, and there could be more than one ending. Obviously, that didn't happen. It's disappointing to know what you said and what you did meant absolutely nothing. Though I suppose that's nothing new with this series. One thing that really annoyed me was the fact that the ranch flashback is the last time we ever play as Clementine. And in doing so, it kind of undermines the barn switch scene. It should have been Clementine placing the collectibles in the final scene, or at least her walking away at the end. It's her story, and we should have seen her for the final scene. It just feels weird to end it with AJ being the last person we see on the screen. All in all, it's far from perfect, but I got what I wanted from it, which was a satisfying ending. As theatrical as the execution was, seeing Clementine alive did make me cry. That said, we could have done without the stupid raider plot, killing Marlon, and bringing back Lily just for her to either die or disappear. I should be more frustrated that most of her choices didn't really amount to much, but considering how hampered this season was with its budget and the fact that we almost never even got an ending, I'll take what I can get. There's a lot more I could say about the season as a whole, but that's a video that will come later. All in all, I'm just glad it happened. I want to say thank you for your support these past 2 years of me making videos. I know most people probably know me from my cut content stuff, but I do appreciate you taking the time to listen to my review. And my next video will be a cut content video for the final season. Fair warning, there's not a whole lot to show off, but I will be describing the cut storyline that was changed in development, so stay tuned for that. The last thing I want to say is the final season might be over, but my channel is not. There's still a lot more I want to do, and I think I have one big surprise that some of you won't be expecting, although that's a little ways off. With that said, thank you all very much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.